Dr. Katie in the house. Hi, honey. How are you?
I am great, Meg. Thank you.
I am so glad to see you outside of the parking lot.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So tell us just really quick about the practice. So you're still seeing people, but it's all done.
Our clients can come right in the building. So we've never, just since way back in last March, we've always had clients coming right in the building with their pets. So
nice. Good. And knock wood. This is great, honey. I'm so glad. First of all, here's what I want to show on the banner. And Katie, I've known you for a long time. So, and I think most everybody knows a DVM. Where'd you get your degree? Where did you go?
Wisconsin, 1993.
Yay.
Yeah, 1993 grad from Wisconsin.
Yay. Now tell us about the next two series, CVA. What does that stand for?
Certified Veterinary Acupuncturist. So I started with Chinese medicine training back in 2008, got certified in late 2008, and then branched out after Chinese medicine and acupuncture and herbal training into a lot of what I do now, incorporating functional medicine and all kinds of other holistic modalities into my, practices and services for my pet patients.
Well, I love this. Yeah.
And it branches out to their human counterparts, my clients.
Yeah, it does. And we're going to talk about that today. But you said functional medicine. What is that?
So I love it. And people who are really plugged into holistic things for themselves may have heard of the term functional medicine. It is basically a realm of holistic natural medicine that really focuses on supporting your body with really excellent tools to support optimal function, because everybody's body, and certainly our animals too, are brilliant, innate, energetic beings on many levels. And we have the ability to heal and to stay in balance and health and, homeostasis if we give the body the right tools and get out of the way. Right.
And oh my gosh, the right tools and get out of the way.
Exactly. A lot of, disease issues and health conditions are, from us maybe introducing things that are creating resistance in the body and not allowing the body to use that innate intelligence to correct things. And then the other part of functional medicine really sort of steps into what I just said is building. The first thing, again, to recap, is building the body up, supporting the body with the best tools for function, and then removing or avoiding as many of the offenders that break the body down, that cause inflammation, that cause destruction, that cause stress on mental and physiological levels and all that kind of thing. So building the body up, minimizing as many things as we can that are tearing the body down. And that, in a nutshell, is functional medicine. And it is a beautiful thing. It works so well. And you can incorporate herbs and Chinese medicine and homeopathy and all of these things in as part of your tools to support the body to best function. But really, in a nutshell, that describes it very well.
And so what you do is, it sounds like you through a process of elimination, and then we know how well the body functions. How long does that usually take for people to see it?
To get results, you mean? How long does it take?
Well, yeah, to even see that there is something going on.
Oh gosh. Sometimes it can happen very quickly, but there are things that obviously have taken a long time in the body to get set into those patterns.
Good point.
So in general, for true healing and, true shifting back into balance, that will take some time, depending on how chronic this, buildup has been for this condition. However, a lot of times results on the pathway to resolution can happen more quickly than sometimes you would think. So just changing the diet, adding in a couple strategic supplements, starting to avoid some of the things that are causing issues. Sometimes within a matter of days, people and animals are already receiving great benefits. So
yes. And I'm sure that it's really difficult then for the people to be patient. Yeah, and like you said, and get out of the way, stay out of the way.
Right.
Observe the garden.
I do like to explain, to my clients, to pet parents, that it is a process, and it's something that, they're going to need to, commit to that process in continuing to, support their pet through these various steps that I can guide them with, and knowing that cumulatively this is going to, bring us to a much better place.
Well, you got two of the greatest words in there: commit to consistency.
Yes.
Wow. If only the humans could do that.
Right. And you're so right, Meg. And the interesting thing is that it's actually, in my experience, more likely for them to do it for their pets than themselves. Because
oh my gosh, yeah.
It's very difficult
always.
But when you're making that commitment for somebody else that you love and you care for, and especially with our pets, knowing that we are their providers, it's a little different when it's for a friend or a spouse or a family member, but when it's your pet and they depend on you for everything, or most things, I think it's a lot easier for people to have that level of commitment for their pet than it honestly is for themselves.
Absolutely. I always tell people, take care of yourself like you would your animal. If it's rest, if it's a layup, do it. If it's change of diet, do it. Yeah, exactly. So you and I had talked about what we wanted to talk about today, and we've got a quick 1, 2, 3. 1, emotions cause physical reactions.
Absolutely.
So please, I mean, what?
This is something that is so interesting because, earlier in my career, this is certainly not something that I recognized. But first of all, the more you do holistic practice, the more of these kinds of things you become aware of. And honestly, in just today's day and age, so many of us are starting to, become more enlightened, as you will, with understanding, having awareness of these things. And now it is very clearly understood that emotions do cause physical reactions. And, if anybody follows people who teach, quantum physics, energy, and things like that, and people who are into quantum healing, Dr. Joe Dispenza and a lot of other people in that realm have really explain this well for people. But on a scientific level, it is well known that emotions are causing biochemical and neural true reactions in the body. And so it is literally driving the way tissues will respond and cells will respond, and healing will respond, or getting into a disease pattern will respond.
And I think that we know this by literally, I know this by somebody walking into the room. I have a physical, visceral reaction to that person. It's either, oh, I love you, I want to go forward, or it's like, oh boy, I'm going to back up. So, but there is a reaction, and we forget, my boyfriend Darwin, we forget that we are mammals and that we are still evolving, but we all evolved, kind of sort of from the same tree, meaning that if somebody walks into the room and I'm not sure about them, my hackles might go up. Mm-hmm.
And interestingly, you putting that into words for us, that is because you are such an aware person and tapped in and tuned in, and many people are, but a lot of people aren't as recognizing, or in recognition of that, but animals are. That's so interesting that you bring that up, because the vast majority of our pets are going to respond in the same way you just described.
Exactly. And yes. And I think it is a re-education. I think it's a matter of telling people it's okay to, quote, feel something when someone walks into your presence. And we're not used to having that applauded or recognized even. So yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I grew up more with animals than I did with humans.
Right. Yeah. And recognizing that emotions are okay and they have their place and they have their purpose, but also recognizing that if we stay in certain patterns, and then something that we could bring into this step one of our conversation is that emotions are energy. Everything is energy at a base level, and energies are in, certain vibrations, and you can literally measure the frequency of vibrations, and the energy of emotions have been measured. And the emotions that are at the top of the vibrational scale, vibration that brings you up, are, of course, you would expect joy. Gratitude is considered to be the highest frequency level emotion. at the highest vibration, whereas fear and, doubt and anger and things like that are at the bottom of the emotional scale. And so when you feel these emotions, they're natural, and there's always times in life where you're going to feel fear or anger or frustration or whatever, but we don't want to stay there. And we want to put ourselves in a mindset where we lift out of that and we start thinking about joy, or, gratitude gets us into that vibration of joy. And our pets and the animals around us feel that too. And what we're doing affects them because they're picking up on all of that.
Well, you got that right. So here's number 2. Stress causes and exasperates health problems.
Right. Yes.
So stress. I mean, it's a big word these days. And tell us about this.
So, most people have some recognition of the fact that stress is very tied in with disease issues. And certainly there's a whole lot of anxiety and just cognitive issues that we can talk about, or, depression and mood issues that we can talk about from stress, but literally physical disease as well. And that can be explained even from the biochemical level of when we're feeling stress, our bodies are putting out, our adrenal glands are putting out more cortisols. It is definitely measured that when cortisols go up, a lot of, negative occurrences can occur in the body if the cortisol levels are constant and constantly high. Small little bursts of it is natural throughout life, but we're not meant to live at that high stress level all the time. And of course, in today's modern society, and what's been going on certainly over the last year with the pandemic, I mean, there's people experiencing higher levels of stress than probably ever before, in our human existence. So our animals are so wonderful, and the bond that we have with our pets really seats them into being connected with our emotions. And so this is a time that is very unique now and moving forward, with us recognizing the role that this is taking not only in our own lives but our pets' lives, and allowing them to help us bring us back to a higher level of vibration too. So it goes both ways.
And you talked about the cortisol, and it's not only like an event, right? It can be, I learned from an equine veterinarian, he told me that it can be from fluctuating dehydration. That the cortisol, because it's a survival hormone or something, and that it spikes long after the event.
Right, exactly. Okay. So cortisol can spike from numerous things, and a lot of times it's emotional or mental stressors or fears or things like that. But it certainly can be from other, health-related conditions or other, biochemical conditions that are occurring in the body as well.
And what you said too, about disease, I always hyphenate that word, dis-ease. Because if there's something that is at dis-ease or unease, whether it's in my body, my environment, my family, I feel that. And it is a dis-ease. I am not connected. I'm not in homeostasis.
You're exactly right. Yep. And that's where it's so empowering to start understanding that, because then we can all start to heal ourselves and even pass that on to our animals and support better healing of our pets when we understand that it is a dis-ease. And when we support the body and get out of the way to allow it to get back into harmony, then we're back into ease and not disease.
I did something that I swear was the first week of lockdown, so however long ago that was, a year and a half or whatever, that I wrote something on a pad of paper and I held it up for live Facebook, and it literally said, "Prevention is boring." And it is, right? Prevention is boring. It's like, there's no big deal about it. There's no crisis. And I don't know about you, but I'm in animal welfare, so I am crisis management. And that's also how I was raised. However, when everything is okay, I'm not okay. I need to stir it up a little bit. I mean, that's a terrible thing to admit, but yes. So, I often am the problem. And with the unease, the dis-ease within the present moment. So again, just really quickly on, I've got to give a shout out for flower essences, of course, because what we talk about there is that, and homeopathics too, is that we talk about, how is your now? How are you reacting, responding, reviewing your existing environment? And I think that's real important because we got nothing to go on here. We're not used to being isolated, no hugs, out of work.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the changes and the stressors that are occurring right now just are setting the stage for us to really plug into what these tools that can really help us. And obviously, speaking of the flower essences, homeopathy, and essential oils, all of those things in that category are high energy. They're high frequency, high vibration. So the energy of those flowers that goes into, or those plants that go into the essences, literally helps to vibrationally affect our energy and bring us up.
Yes.
Or animals, of course, too. So yes. These tools are phenomenally powerful, yet so safe and so accessible. I mean, it's just a really, really wonderful thing for everybody to be aware of.
And so subtle. I think that's part of it too. They're so subtle. It's kind of like, well, gee, why am I more relaxed? It's 5 o'clock. I should be stressed. So it's very subtle, and we have to, make our own awareness. We have to make our own awakening at that point that these things are changing. So again, let's go. Here's number 3 on our hit parade. Animals feel our emotions and energies and our stress. So you said emotion, energies. So was that like one phrase? Our emotion, energies.
Yes. Well, because emotions truly are energies, and animals are much more aware on an energetic level and feeling things, with that sixth sense that they've plugged into more than, humans typically are losing that or dissociated from that. And so because our emotions are truly energy, pets and animals can pick up on that, and they can often display or mirror back to us. And so the thing that many people know is our pets tend to be some of our greatest teachers. And they teach us lots of lessons throughout life if we pay attention and listen and have some awareness. But sometimes it's them mirroring things back to us. Now, as a veterinarian who, and certainly a holistic veterinarian, I have come more and more to recognize that a lot of health issues with pets, or even behavioral issues, can also be associated with what's going on with their humans that they are so bonded to. And so it's really nice for us to have some of that awareness, because then we know when we help ourselves, we are helping our pets. And if there's things going on in our pets, then we can look at it as a mirror, like, well, what's happening in my, energy field and my well-being and my attitude and my health that might be showing up in my pet. And that's a way for us to really do like some double healing for us and our animals as well.
And we don't have to believe it. We don't have to buy into it. We can just say, okay, look, I'll give it a shot. I've heard it now 3 times this week. Maybe I ought to listen. And so, help ourselves. And here we go. And I hate to say this because, as a mother, as a grandmother, as a pet parent, when they say help yourself first, it's so important. If put our own oxygen masks on.
Right. Yeah.
Mama goes down, the whole machine goes down. So it's, and again, with the prevention, it's so boring, and it's so how do I say this? It's a little bit unrewarding, if that's the right way to say it. In other words, it's like if we have a crisis and we solve it, then it's yay, that's my reward. But to have that subtle, go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That might be, one of the issues with, humans today is a lot of people are really fueled by that, problem solving, crisis solving, and to get addictive, that whole adrenaline, kind of thing. And so it's really a nice perspective to be able to feel really fulfilled and satisfied in a balanced situation. And I mean, there's always fluctuation and dynamics through life, and that's natural and that's what should happen. But it's really nice to sort of seek that affirmation and balance rather than always seeking affirmation in the problem solving, crisis attention kind of stuff. And, that can do, but.
Yeah. And it's like surfing, every wave is different, but if you get on the board, you adjust to that wave.
Right.
And you either ride it or you don't, and then you wait for the next one. So
go.
Absolutely. This thing about helping ourselves, and it's a family affair, and I really appreciate that. And a lot of times, we've heard these unbelievable, well, they are believable stories of how a dog will come up and we're saying, well, the dog is bored and not exercising, but the dog is saying, hey, it's you. And they come up and they touch us or they hit us, and the dog, creates pain and finds a mass in there. We later find a mass in our own body. So again, it's the, listening, and the conversation is not in English.
Right. Exactly. That's where it gets difficult for us. So
yeah. So here's my question. What can we do to help prevent or avoid this? Creating this stress or mirroring, that's not fair in the fact that, I feel better because you feel worse, when we're talking about the animal. So what can we do to prevent this pain?
To prevent, first, of course, it starts with awareness. So these kinds of discussions are perfect. And then bringing in tools to support ourselves and our animals at the same time. And those tools can start with something like what I can guide people through, which is functional medicine, obviously good diet, good nutrients coming in the body, other assistance with herbs and homeopathy and things like that, avoiding as many toxins as possible. Again, the things that break the body down. So eliminating as much of those in our lives and our pets' lives as possible, because those react not only on, your cells and your mood and health issues, but also your energy. So those things sort of foundational, in my mind, but then also getting into things like meditating with your pets. And I think you're having Amanda
Reed from Summer Dog is on next Wednesday. Yes.
Doing her morning daily walking meditations with your dog, and they are off the charts amazing. So I
am so glad. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for her. Yeah.
But they are truly, truly beautiful guided sessions that really put you into an excellent place. And you can tell that, your dog receives that as well. So that is phenomenal.
Oh my gosh. I love that. And getting ahead of it. By meditating. Yeah, I love that.
Deep breathing, being present with your pets and with yourself goes a long way. And then bringing in our tools like the flower essences and the essential oils and the homeopathy to also add to our vibration. But and just to backtrack, meditation does that too. We know that meditation brings up our vibration and our frequency.
Yeah.
And gratitude
lowers our stress. Yeah, definitely.
Right, exactly.
About a year and a half ago, I had Sam Wyke on here, and Sam said for his stress releaser was singing while he was walking his dog. And he goes, Meg, I'm a terrible singer, so I'm laughing out loud, and all this, so we're replacing, possibly the cortisol more with endorphins and the happy stuff, right? So again, just really.
Yep, I love that you brought that up, Meg, because music and sounds are also extremely healing and, mood supportive and vibrational and frequency supportive as well. And there's even a whole category called sound therapy. And actually 3 years ago at the American Holistic Veterinary Medical Association, we had a whole track day on energy medicine, and sound therapy was one of the tracks. And then we know there's things like whole tones. That is a musical sort of healing option. And then any meditations, guided meditations like Amanda Reed's meditations that we'll talk about next week. She has a lot of beautiful sounds, of course, in the background, and that really brings us into. So singing and music and sounds are very, very helpful.
I absolutely love that. Okay, so we're at 25 minutes, and we were gonna keep it short. Here's the deal. I want to know your mentors. Who keeps you sparked? Who?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Well, currently, Dr. Zach Bush, if people are not aware of who he is, he's an incredible leading authority on numerous aspects of holistic and natural health, but he is a human doctor, triple board certified actually doctor, who is also very spiritual, by the way. And so he's a wonderful person to follow. So Dr. Zach Bush has been
And so he's an MD. He's an MD, and is he BUSCH or BUSH? Do you?
USH. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, and he's an MD.
And the cool thing is Amanda Rhee is the one who connected me to Dr. Zach a few years ago. And he has been inspirational to me on many levels and has propelled me into a lot of what I've been teaching and speaking about lately. But he's an excellent person to follow, especially, since the pandemic, because he really helps put things in a perspective for us. So he's definitely a mentor of mine right now as well. And I will tell you too that Amanda Rhee is a huge inspiration to me, and working with her has been monumental in my personal and career life too. And then also Dr. Barry Sands, who we have presented with before,
yes,
who is very, very plugged in and knowledgeable about all of these types of topics too. And she's—
Can you off the top of your head remember her heart brain? What is
the heart math? She does the heart math as well.
Heart math.
Yes. And all of this, quantum healing. And in fact, Barry, I put it right here, even to show as a show and tell. She's been writing a lot lately too. And she spoke on energy connections between animals and people at the last AHVMA as well. I was talking about toxins. She was talking about energy. And
that was American Holistic Veterinary Medicine Conference. Okay, go ahead.
Yep, you're exactly right. And she has an article, Your Energy in Your Dog. She had a whole series of 3 articles in the Dogs Naturally over this last year.
And you write for them as well. And you guys are co-authoring something coming up, right? You're co-authoring an article?
Yeah, we're going to be working on some things together coming up. And next month in May, we will all be together with Amanda Rhee in her new location. And we're going to do a live thing together as well.
Yay! Oh my God. That's awesome. That's awesome. I have to give just a quick shout out because I also know you write for Animal Wellness Magazine. They have Animal Wellness Magazine, Equine Wellness. And so we actually did a educational webinar for them a couple of weeks ago, and we got accepted into the Animal Wellness Academy. So it's a whole big thing that Redstone Media is going to be doing now, and they're having a big, quote, Expo Academy coming up. I think in June it starts. And so, yeah, I'm super excited to be a part of all that. So, yeah. Oh my gosh, honey. Hey, listen, we're out of time. You got one last word? Anything?
I just want to thank you for, bringing us together to talk about something that is this, influential for everybody. And so I just love being part of this discussion, and thanks for including me.
Katie, thank you, honey. Thank you for what you do, and your entire team. Everybody over there at Integrative Veterinary Care is awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Have a good day, everyone. Take care. Bye.